Should you buy Ghost of Tsushima? Ghost of Tsushima, developed by Sucker Punch Games, was a massive success in pretty much every aspect, and I can't lie, I absolutely loved this game. It came during a time where gaming for me was slowing down and my passion for it was slowly declining, but this game alone brought back those undescribable feelings of playing a game you love. It released to incredible amounts of praise, so instead of my usual reviews, just let me convince you to play Ghost of Tsushima. We'll be talking narrative and gameplay, and I'm first on this channel, I think, the world of Tsushima and its impeccable soundtrack. Welcome to Classic Game Reviews, where we go back in time and take a look at the games of the past, or in this case, a game from 10 months ago, and today's game is my favourite game of all time, Ghost of Tsushima.
You have no honor, and you are a slave to it. I sacrificed everything I knew to save our people. The Khan deserves to suffer.
Ghost of Tsushima is the perfect example of how games can tell powerful stories while not sacrificing the freedom that a game can bring and the immersion the medium can achieve. Ghost of Tsushima tells the story of the Mongol invasion of the island of Tsushima following a samurai called Jin Sakai. Ghost of Tsushima takes you on an unforgettable journey, watching a character face overwhelming odds, slowly facing the inevitability of the questions he must ask of himself and the sacrifices he must make to protect the land he calls home. Ghost of Tsushima combines samurai culture with a powerful story exploring countless amounts of themes, but mainly focused on honour, loyalty, and if the ends justify the means. Every single character in this game, side or main, have their own individual stories, fleshing out all of them, and while some work better than others, I haven't really played an open world game that compares to the quality Ghost of Tsushima brings apart from the legendary Red Dead Redemption 2. The characters slowly change over the course of the game so naturally, exploring bits of their character while leaving a fair bit ambiguous, leaving your imagination to do the work, but the characters focused on heavily are Jin Sakai, Lord Shimura, Yuna, Lady Masako, Ishikawa, and Ryuza. All of these characters get different amounts of screen time, yet tell their stories with only a few flaws. Each character represents their own themes that the writers wanted to explore, and the characters embody those themes perfectly. The power of desperation and how quickly it makes people abandon what they believe in is also a major theme for one of the characters among many others, which works really well for the amount of screen time this character has, which isn't a lot. Jin Sakai slowly, and I mean slowly, develops over the course of the game, and it's done to perfection for me personally. The gameplay and narrative blend in multiple parts to tell his story, and it's just a great experience to play through because once again, it feels completely natural, and that's rare in the industry. On your first playthrough, you'll think the game is going too slowly, but once you finish it, you appreciate the opening's pacing so much more because of the development you genuinely understand. Too many games that try to tell great narratives rush the character development, and it's rare games nail the pacing of that character development. That usually leads to an unsatisfying ending for the characters. The game is split into 3 separate acts, each having their mini-stories while complementing the overall narrative, making the quality improve further. The soundtrack levels the narrative up just to legendary levels for me. The music complements the story, and while some would say the soundtrack is too epic or powerful to suit the story, I disagree. It blends the beauty, trauma, and development all into one giant soundtrack, blending a variety of instruments and vocals, creating a soundtrack that is perfect for Ghost of Tsushima, and quickly became one of my favourite soundtracks of all time. Yeah, I'm biased, but that's just the way I see it. I have to be honest, to me this narrative is flawless apart from one thing, and that's the narrative's length. I think the narrative would have benefited from an extra chapter fully fleshing out the main villain, as Khotun Khan is not fleshed out very much, which is literally my only issue with the narrative. You can say I'm biased because, well, I am. It's my favourite game of all time. Ghost of Tsushima is one of those games that just simply breaks your jaw when you boot it up for the first time, for the second time. Hell, every time you boot the game up, the world and its art style just blows you away. Not only that, the world tells countless stories through its detail and is constantly changing its visual style for each section of the island. I've never been as immersed into a game than I have been in Ghost of Tsushima. The only way I can truly describe it without banging on for 30 minutes is I was simply in a dream when playing. The only time immersion broke for me was when my brain was telling my eyes to chill out and just blink already. The amount of time and dedication it would have took to create a world so thematically relevant to its narrative and gameplay design, all while telling its own unique stories and also to be fun to explore, is mind-blowing. It does everything an open world game should. It's not too large, avoiding the dreaded gameplay loop of walking 3,000 miles for one objective where nothing happens, but it's not too small for it to be explored within 20 minutes. Each part of the world is appropriately open to you throughout the narrative, so you can't explore everything the moment you start, but the way I recommend to play it is to complete everything on each section of the island while you play through the story. It's thematically better and immerses you further, as well as connecting you to the struggles Jin Sakai and his allies is facing. Truly masterful, and is possibly my favourite open world to explore due to its clear appreciation of the player's time and the value that time has. It's just simply masterfully made.
And look him in the eye. And teach him that samurai never acts out of anger or fear. And take his life.
The gameplay here is nothing new, but it's perfected everything these open world games try to be. Combat feels powerful yet deadly to the player, causing that adrenaline pump when you're on that last sliver of health when you're finally about to beat a boss. Exploration is paced to perfection, and everything you collect or do does actually progress aspects of your character and how lethal your character is. Customization, while lacking in variety, was unnecessary, yet Sucker Punch added it, and it increased the game's depth with different abilities and skills, creating a more personal experience compared to games like Assassin's Creed. All of these combined with action, stealth, customization and constant exploration puts you in a gameplay loop that for me is perfected. I never got bored once on multiple playthroughs, each time getting a unique experience gameplay wise and appreciating the amount of time that would have gone into balancing this game's combat, making it fun but also realistic. Respecting its original inspiration of old samurai films, as well as the real-life invasion of Tsushima. There is a variety of things to do, like camps, shrines, petting foxes, side missions, and even supernatural tales, unlocking cool abilities, further elevating the gameplay. Stealth is also in this game. Naturally, you play as the Ghost, and while it is a main focus, you can definitely tell it's kind of stripped back for more casual audiences, so I guess if there is something to complain about, it may be the lackluster stealth, but at the same time, the stealth does exactly what it needs to do, and this isn't technically a stealth game. You can choose to be a samurai or you can choose to be a stealth guy. It's completely up to you, and I like that. It's not Splinter Cell. You're not forced to go down a specific route. Everything is earned through gameplay as well, and isn't required to have put in 100 hours of grind to unlock one piece of gear, Ubisoft. The gameplay is paced to perfection, and while main mission design does limit your option here and there, it doesn't take away Ghost of Tsushima's ability to be a fun, exhilarating game capable of putting you in a trance like no game ever has. Sucker Punch also added an entire multiplayer mode for free and blew me away. It's great fun and provides a lot of new cool abilities and provides the samurai gameplay I've always wanted to experience in a co-op game. How this game didn't win Game of the Year is just beyond me.
And now, the Game of the Year award goes to...
I have said enough. Ghost of Tsushima to me is a masterpiece, wonderfully directed and designed, telling one of my favourite stories while not sacrificing gameplay mechanics, in fact going above and making those mechanics service the story. Ghost of Tsushima is an absolute classic, so I hope I've convinced you to buy it or return to it for another playthrough. Thank you for watching.